Okay, hey, I think I figured out how to stitch a couple videos together since I'm technologically disadvantaged. So I got these brake lines in. Actually, this is the vent and the fuel. And they go back, twist around, no big deal. Got these mounted, got these mounted. And one thing about these, I got 4 holes in them. And at first I thought it was to make it higher or lower. So I pulled out the handy dandy book. And if you look there, you see they're kind of level. So tilting them kind of made sense. And I sat down with the book and the book shows you. So I'll show you that real quick. So you're right there. Goes in at angles. Who'd have thunk it? Somebody wrote it down. And I had a guy mention to me that, you just have that little, I thought about it, but I had a little brain fart. So I put these bolts in and actually had the bolt head up. I was like, oh, that looks cleaner. Well, if you ever have to take that out, obviously, you can't get it out. Now, my bolts I put in, I had found some short ones, so seeing as how I have at least that much room, I was probably okay, but that is the correct way. So that's that. These are all done and tight. I think I showed you that already. And just waiting on a few more pieces. I got to run into town now. I'm gonna pick up my steering box. And I'm gonna drop by the muffler shop and see if I can find a donut to fit this. Showed you once, that went on there and sealed, I imagine with just a flat paper seal. With nothing in there, I could just sandblast and put that back in place. Worst case scenario, that's what I'll do. And then obviously, that just fits on there. So worst case, that's what I'll do. And I'm gonna run down to town now and pick up some parts. And I'll be back soon. Hello, little transition. I think I figured out how to stitch a few videos together without being so hard, so we'll try that. I went downtown to get, like I said, the little donut gasket to go here. Nothing would fit. And this is where that emissions choke thing with the vacuum on the driver's side all went. So this fits. That's actually the gasket that would go between that and this. And like I say, this thing had the vacuum pot on it, and shut it off right at your exhaust. This right here will just be you just cut a flange on a pipe for that. So I actually just grind that thing off, went to weld it, but I had a lot of contaminants around it for some reason. It's like some oil was flowing out by that insert. So at that point, I just decided I would tap it. It was already the right size. Just took this, I think, 7/16 tap or whatever. So I'll just put a little sealer on there and stick that in. And then this will go back on the exhaust header. I looked at 100 different pieces to try and eliminate this, but some were close. Couldn't find anything. Found one that was so close, I really could have just shaved this out in here, but I was like, at that point, if anybody ever did want to add it back, whatever, I just didn't want to mess with a hard to find piece like that. This thing was already rusted, gone, so there was no loss to that. Also picked up some brand new dust caps. They don't fit either. This is the second pair. Chinese made. One side, same number, same everything. One side goes in, and the other side just flops around. It's like there's no interference. So I just went ahead and I'll take them back. I've already sandblasted these. They're hidden. Ain't gonna be that big a deal anyway, but I went ahead and sandblasted them, and I'll get them painted and stick them back on. That's it. Sunny day outside. Went ahead and decided I would take this day and get caught up on a few things. Had to cover up, winterize the lawnmowers and things, got them all covered. And it's supposed to start raining and snowing here pretty soon. So got things covered up for the winter. I'm gonna move the frame over out of the way. We're going to put the truck in the paint booth for the winter because I'm not doing any more painting. The car is, it's done. Gas tank was painted and put in. I don't think I'm gonna mount any of that right away. I'm gonna put the brake and fuel lines on before I move it over. I've already got that in. Actually, I'll put in the emergency brake lines too. And it's just time to start getting things mounted and stuck up there in the way, or out of the way. So can actually start getting some room on the floor. That was it. I've got some more things ordered. I'm going to order carpet today. I actually went to Rock Auto, look up the part number, same part number that Summit's got. Summit is $300. Rock Auto was $194. Same part number. It's the black, that cut pile, whatever, with the mass backing, the really thick stuff that's on there. It's worth it because it makes them fit better. They look better, not kind of wrinkly. They're just harder to put in. You can't do it on a winter day. You got to do it, get them out in the sun, get them heated up. So I just sent a note to Summit and asked them if they'd price match it. And I got an answer back, yeah, with a little number to call them. So I'm going to call them and order that today. It was actually $210 because I added in the shipping from Rock Auto. And the reason was I could have just ordered from Rock Auto, and I have before, but something about the interior stuff, getting it from California, and it's so big and bulky, if there was an issue and I have to send it back, then obviously I'm $60 to ship something back. Summit's just up the road from me, up near Akron. So if I've got an issue, I'll just take it back. But they price matched anyway, so I'm good there. That's it. Nothing new. I'm going to get back to this one, show you that while I had it there, and more work to follow. Bye. Back again. Okay, did a few more things today. I got the truck put in the booth for the winter. We're going to cover it up and she'll be done, good to go. Move the doors and things for the Trans Am in here. They can get painted when it's warm. Move the frame over, put the new steering box in. When, like I said, I went and had that rebuilt, and it's mounted and uses, what, 70 pounds of torque on the bolts, and then this thing gets like 180. So hell, I don't even know if I can twist 180 pounds. We'll figure it out. Getting ready to put the fuel line and the brake line to the rear on. Got them unfolded. And like I say, I always go in here and move all this stuff out of the way, shoot a coat of clear. I mean, I could have bought stainless, but I don't know. Just, this is what was on there, and that's what I put on. Motor's ready to go in. I think that's about it. Did a few other things. Oh, went and got these new dust covers. They don't fit. Chinese, I think I already said that. And so I just went ahead and cleaned up the old ones. Got bolts ready to go. I got the exhaust manifolds, studs in. And then this one you can see on the driver's side, I just put that gasket back under this piece. and had put the bolt in there. So not going to flow as good as headers, but everything will fit. And then when I put the drops on, obviously they'll seal right there. And I think that's all I got done today. Took a while just to clean everything up. That's it for now. On to something else. See you later. Okay. This is interesting. I think I've had to do this before, but I'm not 100% sure. So I'm going to show you this anyway. This is the bracket that holds the rear brake line on. It goes to the rear axle. This bracket fits right up here. It has to go in this one. This one's too narrow, so it goes that way. Then you can tell this comes in on the back side of that, screws into the little flexible hose that goes over here to where the rear end's going to be. This, when it's sitting in that orientation, looks exactly like the assembly manual. If you look right down here, assembly manual, so you've got the hard line coming in, the flex line off the rear end. It loops into this, which is sitting this way. It's kind of hard to see. Let me grab a pen. You can see the angle of it there. The two nubs, that's where the hole goes. That one right there, it shows the little clip that holds the flex line in, and then the hard line screws into that. So it goes just like it's sitting now. The problem is, and I've checked multiple hoses. I got those. It has lugs right there. There's one, and then there's a little one. Get up here where I can focus. There's a little lug right there on top. And if you look in the hole, there's a big lug and a little lug. The problem is, none of it goes in this way. It does not fit. So, like the big lug, trying to get this, let me set over here and show you. There's the orientation that's going to sit. This is coming off the rear end. There's the little lug on top. And let me do this. There's the little lug, and there's a little bit of paint on the big lug. So, try to get this up here where I can show you. Spin that big lug around to where it's going to fit in there. And the little lug misses the hole. Okay. The odd thing is, it fits if you came in this direction. It'll actually fit right in there. Hard to do this one-handed, but it's like the thing got made backwards. It'll just slip right in there, but it's going the wrong direction. And you can't turn these this way because then the hole's in the wrong spot. So the only thing I can think of is these were for something else. You got to make them work. That's the second one I've got. And really, all you have to do take a little square file, put the small lug down here, and just extend this hole out to here, and the big lug will fit in. Now again, you could just frickin' put it in there crooked, clamp it, it's gonna work fine, but it doesn't look right. So I think I've had to do this before for some reason, so you gotta file that out. And I have absolutely tried every angle, turn it around. I mean, you could probably flip it and re-drill the hole in the frame, but that's not right. It should be sitting in that orientation, and every line, like I say, this will be the third time I've gotten these lines, and when I've had to replace them, that's been the issue. It just, it's been 2 years, 3 years since I've had to replace that particular spot, that particular line. And if you got any idea, I'm gonna go ahead and waller it out, stick it in there. But if you've got any other ideas, let me know. This is the part number. It was a centric. And it's happened before. So for whatever reason, just be prepared that you're gonna have to do that. And we'll carry on back in a bit. Okay, might need a little help on this one. So, like I said, I've done a dozen of these cars, but never had one that was the 4-wheel disc. And when I put the emergency brake lines on, all of that goes on the way it is. These actually go in and point up. And the smaller end, you can barely tell it's smaller, but it goes at the top because they'll flip. So this would be on both sides, it goes in, points up a little. This line here, so you can see where it comes out of the frame and goes down to the splitter here. Well, this spring does nothing. There's a stop here on the 403 cars, or on the drum cars. They had either a C-clip, they had something there, which that spring sit back here, and as you pulled the brake, it compresses that spring, and then when you release the foot emergency brake, it pops it back out and releases, the tension to the drums. Well, on a disc car, it's already got springs at the discs. 2 big springs back there, and they're plenty strong to pull that. So my question is that normal for the 4-wheel disc cars, that this is just on here and it's kind of universal, where if you needed that to be there, you slide that back, there's a little C-clip that you can put on there, and that happens. I've seen it both ways. It depends on how you order. This was an AC Delco piece, and it didn't come with any of that, but I think it may have been missing in a bag because they gave me 2 bags of the same bolts. But either way, you can if you needed that to happen, I could squeeze the spring on there, squeeze it back, and just clamp a bigger, I've got some clamps and things I could put on there. But I also heard from one guy that went out and looked at his 4-wheel disc car, and he said it's the same way. His spring is just on there and slides back and forth. Doesn't do a thing. Had a bunch of guys tell me, I was asking about it, and they're like, oh, that's for the exhaust. Well, it's not for the exhaust. That spring, if it's on there, it sits here. And then if you look at the bottom of the car, the exhaust, even if that were down there, the exhaust comes nowhere near that. The exhaust comes off here along the transmission and then hugs back here closer and runs along the drive shaft. If there was something there at all, it would be here. But there's not been a spring like that on any emergency brake on any Trans Am I've ever done. But that's that. So that's not the case. I don't think that's the case. So my question was, on your 400 cars for 79, does that just do nothing? Because that really does nothing. And if you've put it on and found that there wasn't enough spring tension to release the foot brake, does that, because it's right there, I can just compress that back past to the thing. I can compress that back to there, put a clamp on it, and then it's plenty tight. So that's that. Everything else I got in, that I obviously just notched out like we were talking about, got it to fit the way it's supposed to. And again, good shot of actually how that all is supposed to fit. This is the driver's side. You can see in there the hole, everything. And then this will go on the rear end and actually sit there just like that. So that's it. I'm gonna put this video out because I can, if you got an answer for me, let's go ahead and do that. There's nothing in the manual or the supplement at all that shows anything about a spring. I think it's pretty self-explanatory. A lot of that stuff in the book is that way. It's like it says as typical, meaning if you can build a car and you're working there, you probably know how it goes. Well, that's how it goes. I'm just not sure if they actually forgot to do something or whatever. But when I've looked up AC, I've looked up a Dorman. No, actually Dorman's different. If you look at the Dorman, like at Rock Auto, it shows a big clamp there and the spring back. But that would be like for the drum car. But all it's going to do, if they sold them all that way, it just gives you more spring power. But then is that too much? I don't know. I just want it to be right. It's kind of one of those anal things where I just want it to look right. People looking at the car, it's built right. And on the Dorman also, so where this comes out of here, the AC Delco is in a big plastic wrap. This goes up to the foot pedal. And on the Dorman, it's the original like spun wire wrap, but thick, like strap wrap. And then the other two brands I looked at are just like this AC Delco. And there's no differentiation between drum or disc. It just says front for everything. So there are differences. We just got to figure out why. And then that's it. I'm going to go post this. We'll figure out a few things and we'll go from there. I've also got all my brake lines, the fuel lines and vent lines. They weren't totally ruined. There's no holes or anything. I mean, they're just dirty and rusty. Anybody needs a set, you're close to Ohio, you can have them. Come get them. I mean, that's freaking $500 worth of, $400 worth of lines. I mean, seriously, you could just wipe them with some rust remover or put them on and cover them with something. I'm just replacing everything as I go. But that's it. Let me go stitch this together and maybe I can get a few answers. Thanks, guys. Bye.